ERASED by Mindy Gremion. Here I lie, a somebody that is nobody. Let me tell you the story of nobody. In the fall of 1924 in old China, many men in our village were contracted to sail for America to work on the Gold Mountain. 17 of those men were not married and have been arranged with a wife, so they would be obligated to return once their work was completed. I was one of those 17 brides that day. While our husbands were gone, our lives proceeded as usual. Chinese women always did what they were told. We had many jobs that filled our days, such as raising livestock, maintaining gardens, exchanging goods, weaving, and making clothing. We were self-sufficient, living off of our lands and honoring the wishes of our ancestors, thus receiving their blessings. Years pass, and my husband, along with my 4 brothers, father, and uncles, are still out of the country, working hard to provide for our family. I can barely remember what my husband looks like. I was fortunate that someone was able to take a portrait of our weddings, and seeing his face on the portrait was my way of remembering. Meanwhile, my family has started dividing their lands into 4 parts, so my brothers can maintain their lineages when they return home. Once a week, I dutifully walk along the mountain to collect fuel from the service station, which is approximately 10 miles away. Along with providing a fair share of wheat and corn, the trader finds it more of a fair trade that I also let him make use of my body for his personal pleasure. It wasn't always the requirement before, but either I give him what he wants, or I fail to complete my duties as a member of my family. This is what I am told, and this is what I do. I wish this would stop, but he did what he needed to do, and I did what I was told. He told me that if I told anyone our transgressions, that he would tell my family, beat me, or better yet, kill me. He demanded me to always be there every week. This is what I needed to do, not only for him, but for my family. Months pass by, and my secret grows. My clothes are getting tight. People are talking. As my belly grows bigger, so did the suspicions of the villagers around me. That man that had planted this seed made plans to raid our house. Others stare at me in hatred. I am cursed. One night, towards the end of the pregnancy, I awoke to the sounds of the villagers outside of our home. They were marching towards our house, wearing white masks, or hanging their hair over their faces as to conceal their identities. These were no strangers in our village. These were all people that worked together with us, including the no-name man. They dredged through our rice fields, slicing them down with their machetes. First throwing mud and rocks, they approached our livestock and throw the eggs, while others were slaughtering our stock. The heads of our roosters, cows, pigs, and oxen were hurled through the windows of our house. The front door and the back door were both smashed open at the same time, even though our doors were not locked. Their machetes were dripping the blood that were shed from the slaughtering of our animals. They smeared blood on our doors and walls. One woman took the fresh carcass of a chicken whose throat she had just slit and splattered the blood from the still beating heart. Our family was in the middle of the house, watched in horror as the villagers ripped up our clothes, breaking our bowls, banging our pots together, smashing every jar of food we had stored up. After the villagers left, they left with whatever was not ruined. My family broke their silence and cursed at me. "Look what you've done! You've killed us, ghost! Dead ghost! Ghost! You'll never been born!" I couldn't bear it. In shame I ran until the voices disappeared. I crashed into the earth, knowing I had nothing left. Oh, but that dreadful night wasn't over. I was in so much pain. I must have hurt myself while running away. I lay there on the grass, and the feeling of helplessness overwhelms me. That pain returned vigorously. My body would seize up and relax in alternating patterns. I felt cold and sweaty, but also a warmth coming from within me. I had to find somewhere safe. I found a pigsty with a fence around it and climbed that fence as blood is dripping down my legs. I felt safe here. At last my curse was expelled. I reached down to touch this hot, wet moving mass to find out it was a baby girl with every finger and toe to account for. I picked up this precious little human, still curled with her butt in the air and feet still tucked one under the other, and placed her onto my breast. I knew that this poor child will have nothing. I cannot provide her a life. I have no family, therefore she has no family. I am a woman with a girl child, my little ghost child, such innocence wasted, fills her belly with the milk that my breasts provide. When morning came, I walked to that well. Carrying the baby to the well shows loving. Mothers who love their children take them along. I jumped in. I became nobody, a no-name woman with a no-name baby, from a no-named father. Some things were never meant to be, and that is how I was remembered, as nothing. I had a name. The end.